Shalom, Akim. I'm going to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakah, Kadash. Double honors the elders and apostles of GMS who teach and rule well, and salutations to all the Akim, all four corners of the earth was pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom, Akim. So, Lucky, I want to get into, things that are going on. You know, there's a lot going on in the world right now, and all the things that are happening in the world are, we are able to, see these things through the scriptures, as far as the natural disasters that's happening, the war being played out the way it is, and just the way the earth is right now, you got fires and stuff, you got Esau lighting stuff up, the earth is just in peril right now, under the current landlords, they've run this place. They've been doing a horrible job. The only thing that's been on their mind is war, and that's just what the Lord has been putting on their spirit, war, to always trade on each other, stab your brother in the back and go to war with them. Those the MO of the current landlords that are running this place right now, man. This is Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And when you look across the earth, man, there's nobody happy right now. Once again, the landlords who run this place are doing a horrible job, man. They're pushing the cost of living up left and right. They're polluting the earth left and right, So it needs new management. It needs righteous management. Under these unrighteous decrees that are being passed by the presidents of the different countries that are in this place, it just jacks it up even more and more, man. These people, we have heathen who are running countries, and the way that they do it is harmful to the earth, man. But this is why we need the Lord to come back, man, to put things in order, man, because everything's out of order right now, man. Let me drop down, because when things are in order, we'll be able to tell, because for the simple fact, the earth, things will be different, man, as far as the production of the trees, the animals, everything will be happy, man. The scriptures speak about how the animals will be happy, the trees will be happy, but under this current landlord, it's just horrible. If this was a job, we would be writing to the company board to try to get this guy, our boss, up out of here, man, because he's doing a bad job, man. And the president, of all these different countries, they come together, they have these councils, they come together, and they just think about different ways to make money and just ruin the earth even more, man. Proverbs 29:12. If a ruler hearken to lies, all his servants are wicked, man. So what do you think be happening when when the president sends off these troops and stuff, man? He's a ruler, and his soldiers are hearkening to his lies, and if they don't get down with his lies, then what happens? Trump kick him out of his cabinet, man. This is a wick. If anybody in this cabinet tries to talk an increment of sense into him, they're gone, man, because they're going against him, man. The Lord is putting a spirit upon this man, and it's just riling him up. He's real hot. He's real mad. He's on fire, man. And at the end of the day, he's doing the job. He's doing the will of the Lord, man. The Lord is putting spirits in him to do the things that he do, to say the things that he says, And that ultimately we know what's coming down the road, because we're there right now, man. They've already got the infrastructure for a lot of these stores already for that RFID technology. We've done videos throughout the years of how Whole Foods, they come to the cash register, they got the hand scanner right there. They call it a hand scanner now, but what's in your hand other than skin and bone? Or they're gonna replace something in there. That's their technology that he's coming out with. Then ultimately after that, the war will be amped up even more. We're at the beginning stages, although, I shouldn't say beginning stages because it began a while back, but it's rolling. I just say we're rolling, when you look back in time from World War I to World War II, these weren't just overnight things happened, so to speak. It's escalated. These escalated things that happened in different fronts, different countries. Other countries were pulled in. That's the same thing's going to happen here. America right now is asking for other countries and part of his NATO agreement to come help. Those countries are turning their back on America. So what did Trump say? I just wanted to see if y'all were going to help or not. So we're dealing with a tyrant, a real mad man, who's hell bent on, just taking over the earth, man. That's his main job, is to take over the earth, man. Do as he and do as he do what he want in these countries, man. He can invade a country, pull up their president, and keep going like he ain't done nothing. He could go to another country, blow up the drug dealers, even though he does deals with these drug dealers, and it acts like it's nothing. The next day will be another country will go invade. So this is how his thinking is going on, man. It's not rational. But at the end of the day, it is rational, because Esau is not a rational man. He's a fucking tyrant. He's a monster, man. He comes out with these different shows and movies and shows you what he does, man. But our people still want to trust and believe in him, and then pray to the image. That's another thing too. The image, man. The image has our people's minds gone, man. They look up, they wake up, they were born, and they're gonna die. Looking at a white image, man. Thinking that that's their power, man. You have to wake up out of those wicked world, man, and his ways. This is Ephesians 6:11. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. And what are some of the wiles that this devil's got, man? I just spoke about this technology he's coming out with, man. And how he backdoors these countries that were his friends at one point. At one point they did business, big business, and then he backdoors them. He double dips. Esau has all sorts of. He is the writer of that wicked book. He's the great deceiver, man. The scriptures speak about. He'll sell guns to both sides of the war just so they can kill each other, so he come in and take over the land, man. That's the way he works. The wiles of the devil, man. Cunning arts, deceitful, crafty, trickery. That's what he's all about, man. One day, me and the brother was having a conversation at one of the jobs that we used to work at. It was at a bar, and my guy was our manager, and he was a bartender. We bartended too, but he used to get the good shifts, But anyway, so we were having a discussion about how just Gad be getting chopped up and killed by throughout the time in America, from the Westerns, and how they, the different group, the Israelite groups are here, but Gad, we rarely see Gad. And when we do see Gad, he's in a drunk state. He's doped out. He's just out of there, man. He's not dealing with reality. So then we have to come to the conclusion, well, shit, you'd feel the same way if your land was just taken from you and everybody's prospering in your place, but you. And then you have a certain group that keeps you down all the time, man. So you'll never come up. Think about where Gad lives at, on reservations. They gotta drink. They gotta get water coming in from different cities and different areas, man. I did a video a while back, and it's on YouTube about the Gadite woman who has to travel to the different reservations in Arizona because they don't even have running water. As well technology as this country is, you have areas and you have people living in areas that don't even have plumbing and water. But this is supposed to be just for everybody. No, this is for this country. The elites have set it up that that they have the heathen running over everything, and you Israelites are at the bottom, man. You are a laughing stock to the people, to the heathen nations. But guess what? You're not going to be a laughing stock too much longer, because the Lord is coming back, man. And the Lord is going to set everything back in order. Let me continue. This is Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So yeah, they have spiritual wickedness in high places, man. These leaders of this place, they practicing witchcraft, man. They practicing that in Baal, man. They sacrifice to Baal, man. They're full of this witchcraft stuff, man. They have shows dedicated to it. They have the seances at the beginning of the year and certain times of the year, whether it be Halloween, certain calendar dates. They'll go out and do their wickedness, and even certain times of the year is magnified even higher, And then one thing that you could crush the people with is the birthdays, man. That's wickedness, man. Praising yourself, man. Yeah, this place is full of wickedness, man. And it's against spiritual righteousness. This is why we need the Lord to come back, and this is why we have to get up out of here, man. This place has been a burial ground for you Israelites, man. When you think about the years coming through this place and what's been going on, from us being hanging from trees, you know, from us being hunted down when we tried to establish cities and stuff and establish our towns, because this Esau had one thing where he didn't want to deal with us. He didn't want us around, his people, so to speak. So we was like, cool, we'll go off to the outskirts and we do our own thing. We'll build our own cities, we'll build our own hospitals, our own towns. And what does Esau do? He comes through and burns it down all the time, man. When he let us out of slavery, he had something called the Reconstruction era. During the Reconstruction era, he came out with different laws to put Jake back in bondage, man. If you were walking across the street too fast or something, you could do jail time for that. And what happened was, when you went to jail, because mind you, we're out of slavery now, so all these, people gotta pick trees and stuff. These slave masters didn't want to pay, So what did they do? They went into the jailhouses and picked out laborers, man. They were able to do that. Esau had to come out with laws against that. And then, even still to this day, you still have chain gangs in the South, where Jake is on the side of the road picking up trash. That's a job that the state was supposed to do, or state workers are supposed to do. But no, we got free labor. Let them do it. So yeah, this place is full of spiritual wickedness, man. It's full of spiritual wickedness, man. We go on and on, man. Especially you Israelites that were hanging from trees, man. Throughout the South, man. They got a certain area. I always speak about the Devil's Punch Bowl in Natchez, Mississippi. You got all sorts of wild animals, but they know not to eat, or they cross by the area and get on out of that area, man. Why? Because it's a burial ground, man. Esau was hanging Jake left and right and would just dump the bodies over that way, man. Think about when you think about a lot of parts in the South, especially when you go in the rural, just South period. I did a video a while back in Florida. A lot of these project buildings and residential homes that Jake stayed in were built on burial grounds from the slaves from back in the day, man. So you're drinking that water, you just the groundwater, and all that stuff, man. It's just horrible, man. The conditions that we live in, man. This is why we need the Lord to come back, man. He says, let me continue. This is Ephesians 6:13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of Yahweh, that ye may be able to withstand in the evil day, and have done all to stand, man. Standing therefore, having your loins girdled about with the truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet stood with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, man. And that's what the name was about, man, because the wicked is getting to come down upon you Israelites, man. You're getting to come down with great wrath upon you, man. Great wrath. This has never been seen before, man. One thing about Jake, they forget about what I was speaking about the Reconstruction and slavery era. They said that the Reconstruction era was damn near worse than the slavery era. Because at this point, I'm going back and forth, but at this point, when you think about the slavery era, they needed the slaves to work the land. So therefore they had to take care of them. Once we were freed and Reconstruction era came along, who's going to work these houses now? Now Master's losing money, but people still got to eat in the town, and he still got to make money, but he's losing money. So now what we got to do, So yeah, this place, it's been a thorn to our side, but at the same, no, I shouldn't say that. It's been a whipping stick to us, man. Because it's been our punishment. It says, Ephesians 6:17, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Lord, man. And that's the name of the game, man. To be rooted in this truth, man, because the times are getting dark. The times are getting dark. This devil knows what he has but a short time, man. So he's getting ready to come down with great wrath. Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he, man? He's trying to hide right now. You have these billionaires, from Mark Zuckerberg's to the other Edomites, list of billionaires. They're all trying to flee Babylon right now. Matter of fact, they're trying to hide wherever they can right now. Dig holes as deep as they can in the earth with bunkers, trying to establish whole towns under earth, you know. They even have these billionaires, some of the small minded ones are trying to, establish here in Babylon, They'll even try to go to outer space, man. This is why Esau is so hell bent on, exploring these other planets, man. Because he wants to get the heck off of Earth, man. He's trying to flee. He's trying to flee from this judgment, man. It's gonna come, man. See, the elites of Esau know what's gonna happen, man. You regular average Joe Edomites just think everything's gonna continue as was. Junior's gonna go to school. He's going to get this house and the legacy I have, this business I have, farthest thing from the truth. The Lord has these people in a trick bag. But you hopeful elect are the ones who we're out looking for, man. Hoping this word gets to you, man. Because that's what it's about, man. Because 2/3 of our own people, they got to perish. They got to go. They got to go. It's all about judgment, man. We're in a season of judgment, man. And it's becoming clearer and clearer. And guess what? The Lord is not dealing with with wickedness, just plain wickedness, man. So 2/3, because one thing about you Israelites, you're starting to, they know who they are. They're starting to recognize who they are, but they're not coming back to the truth. They're not coming back to who they really are, man. Oh, I know I'm an Israelite. Ooh, this and that. They'll keep marching, keep moving. They don't want to hear the word. They don't want to hear the truth. Oh, I know the Bible, man. I go to church. Ooh, this and that. Preacher man is not telling you anything. They can't break down anything to you. He tells you about prosperity, about making it here in Babylon. We're telling you about this place about to get destroyed, man. We're telling you about how the devil is going to come down with great wrath upon you. How the Lord is telling you to put on his armor. That spiritual armor. It's about to be spiritual warfare. Hey, let me bring this out. This is 1 John 5 and 19. And we know that we are of Yahweh, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. And we know that the Son of Yahweh is come and have given us an understanding that we may know him that is true. And we are in him that is true, even in his Son, Yahweh Shai Mashiach. This is the true power and eternal life. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Amen, man. And that's real, man. Because one thing always goes back to this. America is full of that idol worship. They're full of those witches. They're full of just everything and anything that goes left. Think about even the Hollywood sign. Just the name alone. Hollywood. That's a wood that them devils used to pray to, if I'm not mistaken, man. But even then, it's just pure wickedness. Because even just the thought of going to Hollywood to try to be an actor, think about the things that you have to do. Esau don't mind doing that, but we're spiritual people, man. You Israelites are spiritual people, man. The Lord gives you signs when you do some stupid stuff, man, that you weren't supposed to do. Whether you be homosexual or just a straight out pedophile or whatever, the Lord give you over to them vile affections, man. So those are the things that a righteous man does not want and does not want to deal with, man. So this is why, to come out of this wicked world, man, this was about, man, the coming out of these wicked ways of this world, man, because it leads to death. It says, let me bring it back to the bottom, 1 John 5 and 21. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Amen. They have TV shows called American Idol. They got all sorts of idol shows out, man. And idol is a big thing here in America. Think about the singers. They idolize the singers. They idolize the sports people. Michael Jordan was idolized. And don't get me wrong, the things that he could do were out of this world, but we're going to be able to do those things too. And guess what? He's part of that 2/3. Because the Lord don't care about your money. He don't care about your wicked accolades that you've done here, man. Because when it's time to ask Jordan questions, trying to buckle down, he ain't trying to hear nothing, man. If it ain't about buying his shoe are lacing up to play him in basketball. He don't want to hear nothing. So guess what? The Lord puts those blinders on him. He's enjoying his lot right now, man. This is his kingdom right here. And this is why a lot of the 2/3 have to go, man. You know, because you're selling for bullshit, man. You love the less. You don't get me twisted. During slavery, we had to survive, so we had less. You know, when Master was eating good food in a good big house, we had to eat the poor man's food, man. The things, the parts of the cuts of the cow that nobody wanted, the cuts of the pig that nobody wanted, that you were supposed to discard. We had the vegetables that we eat, man. You know, look at the yam we eat, man. You know, if you didn't know better, you know, well, it does give off a little flour. Yams do get off flour when they're in the ground because it's grown in the ground, you know. But yeah, it's just the things that we have to eat, man. You know, and we look forward to and think that they're glorious. But no, those was part of our punishment, man. You know, a lot of those foods, man. And that's why when you come into the truth and the Lord wakes you up, you cut off that wicked diet. You cut off that pork. You cut off that those shrimp. You know, you cut off that catfish. Those things that you used to eat. It's about building up that new man. It's about building up that new man. This is Psalm 121:7. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth, and even more, man. You know, and that's the name of the game, is protect us from evil, man. Because evil days are coming, man. Dark days are coming. Cut on the news, half the people are scared to really see what's going on in the world. This is why your local news stations play what they play, because you best believe you have Edomites to call up there and tell them, hey, can you not play so much downer stuff that's going on in the world? When you watch the news nowadays, when I wake up in the morning and I cut on the news, the real news, they'll give you like a solid 1 minute countdown to that. You know, when they do the around the world news, or around the world, around the U.S. News feed or whatever, and they tell you the things is going down. Oh, they just had a natural disaster here, they had a natural disaster there. And then they'll give you that 1 minute of that stuff, and then they'll go back to, you know, a cow just had a baby at the petting zoo, and how adorable the babies are, you know. And then into whatever other BS they want to put on your plate, you know. So yeah, this place is ripening for the picking, man. You know, these people are dumbed down. They don't know what true knowledge is. True knowledge is understanding of the scriptures. They don't know that. They think going to these universities and colleges is giving them true knowledge. They think that worshiping an idol, you know, an American Idol, or Michael Jordan, they think that's good. They think that's great. You know, that's rewarding to them. This is Mark 7:20. And he said, that which cometh out of a man, that defileth the man. For from within, out of the heart of men, proceed evil thoughts, adulterers, fornicators, murderers, thieves, covetous, wickedness, deceitful, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. All these evil things come from within and defile the man. And so this is why, another reason, these type of things will not be tolerated in the kingdom of heaven. You know, in the kingdom to come, they will not be tolerated, man. You know, all these things will be left here in this wicked place, man. This place will be nothing more but a nightmare. You really have to really indulge and like, you know, the things that this place is rewarding you with, in order to not be feeling like this place needs to go, you know? Like, I truly understand why, you know, I keep bringing them up, Michael Jordan and those entertainers, why they like it here, man, because they get money, they're pumped up, they're on a pompous pedestal, you know, even though they have to do wickedness. Like, look at Magic Johnson and his son, man. That man, his son is 6'7", and is a crush, and wants to be a woman, but he's a man. The Lord doesn't make mistakes. So and that's evil in its own self, man. You know. So yes, this place is evil things. It's defiled. You know, men thoughts are defiled. They're jacked up. They don't care about the scriptures. You know, they swear they know the Lord, and they swear they know the Son. And then you got other guys who saying that you don't need to know the Son. You can go straight to the Father. Oh man, our people are all over the place, man. You Americans are all over the place for the most part, man. This is Proverbs 8 and let me start 8 and 11. For wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that may be desired are not be compared to it. Ooh, wisdom dwell with prudence, and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride, and arrogancy, and the evil way and the forward mouth do I hate. The Lord hates these things, man. You know, so yeah, this is basically about the fear of the Lord and evil and wickedness, man, because that's all that's being multiplied and pushed here in this place, man. So our job, that little light that's in the room, the little small light that's burning and it's lighting up, you know, that fire that's burning, our job is to be the opposite complete. Our job is to wake up the hopeful elect, man. That's our job, man. That's it. That's all, man. Because this place is getting ready to come to naught, man. We are not storing up treasures in this place. We are storing up treasures in the kingdom to come. Our job, once we got the scriptures and got a great understanding, is to take that ball and run with it. Run with it. You know? And how do we run with it, man? We preach this word. We push this word, man. Make your short calling, make your election short calling. You know? Roughly paraphrasing. But that's our job, man. Once we got into this truth, we finally found what we were really put here to do and be, because we believe truly we believe in reincarnation, man. So we know for a fact that we were pushing this word, you know, in our other life form, man, you know. And that's just what it is, man. Yeah, it's about the fear of the Lord, man. That's what it's about. That's the name of the game. And you people in this world do not fear the Lord, man. You know. You make excuses to why, you know, you can't understand. You make excuses as to why you can't stop and hear the brothers on the corners and stuff. You have excuses for everything, man. You know. But the Lord is getting ready to shut everything down, man. These people do not have a clue for what's in store for them. One, because they go to the church all the time, you know, and the preacher man is not giving them the truth. All he's telling them to do is continue tithing and paying your tithes, you know, and pay more tithes. That's all he tells you. He can't tell you anything. And then he'll let the choir come up. He'll let the message of the day go. And there you go, your whole hour or two in church, and you ain't learned nothing. Your soul is just as unfed as ever can be. Matter of fact, no, it's fed with wickedness, because you got these women in there that are married with the married men, and the men, and then they're lusting after them, man. So it ain't nothing but a whorehouse, man. And this place is being bought. This churches are being bought out all the time, you know, all the time, man. I would love to see what these mega church numbers are lately, of late. And once again, you can't go to none of those guys and ask them questions, man. Go to your local preacher guy and ask him a question about a scripture that you didn't understand, and see what he tells you, man. Go to your preacher man and ask him about the times we're in. I gave you a rundown about how you got these palm readers and stuff. What does that mean? Can your preacher man tell you? Can he give you a breakdown of Revelation 12? What can he do to quench your spirit, man? You know, what can he do? Yeah, this place is ripening for the picking, though, man. And the Lord's on his way back. But yeah, man, it's just, you know, this is a video about, you know, like I say, about the fear of the Lord, and to, you know, and recognizing evil, you know, because, you know, you have to have a spiritual eye to recognize evil, for one. So if you don't have a spiritual eye, you know, you're gonna be stuck in these days, man. You know, the Lord is just you're gonna be used up, man. You know, you're gonna be ran through. I said Revelation 12. I meant Revelation 13. But yeah, with that being said, I hope this is edifying. Shalom, Akim.